Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your bonus reading for April. It's an April 2025 bonus, is what I'm trying to say. You have the Scythe and you also have the Well, but it's not a real Lenormand card. So you have the Scythe and the Letter showing up here in the Lenormand. This is the Gilded Lenormand. The Gilded Lenormand has these like bonus cards in it that I always forget to remove because I don't like them. But yeah, we'll just pull an extra card there. The Scythe and the Letter can definitely represent communication. This could be communication about like some sort of change that's going to be happening for you, or a change that's coming into your life. And so you could be making a change here for sure. Both cards can represent communication. So, there could be some like good news or good information coming in for you here. And I do feel it is good. Sorry, this deck is also upside down, apparently. So I don't read reversals, and that's that. So let's see what we get for you here, Leo. You start off with the Five of Pentacles. You also have this Strength card as your crossing energy, which is kind of interesting. The Five of Pentacles can represent feeling left out in the cold. And the trick with the Five of Pentacles is we have to focus on our strengths, not our weaknesses. So definitely would be a time for you to focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. The other thing about having the Strength card as your crossing energy, since it's you, and again, crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross. The Strength card crossing can say that you need to be more like yourself. And yeah, I just think that you need to be yourself at this time. Like I always say, like the crossing energy isn't like bad. It's just something, it's something to work on. It is something to process, right, during this time. And so with the Strength card, the lion on the card represents her inner voice or her inner critic. And the lion has its tail between its legs here, so it is submitting to her. She is the one that is in control of the voice inside of her head. And with the Five of Pentacles, you need to take control of the voice in your head. You need to tell yourself you are good enough, or you can do something that you want to do, or you are more than capable. Again, Five of Pentacles is all the reasons why you can't do something. And the Strength card is about, again, taking control of those reasons. And even if there's only one good reason why you should do something, that is enough. And the Strength card says you need to develop the strength to, believe that and to make it happen. In the area of your thoughts or what's on your mind, you have the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is my card of like permanence and, wanting to build something on a solid foundation. The King of Pentacles can represent like long-term wealth and security and, all those other good things. So that's probably what you're thinking about. Literally right now here, Leo, is you're probably thinking about like long-term wealth, security, building wealth, and all that other good stuff. So yeah, definitely it's popping into my head. But I'm also, I kind of also feel that the King of Pentacles is saying, it's like saying that all that wealth that you're thinking about exists, right? But I'm not calling you lazy here, Leo. So just, keep that in mind. But he's just sitting here and he needs to do something. He has these grapes on his cloak, and it's also showing up in the area of your mind. So you're just thinking about it. But he has those grapes on his cloak, and the grapes represent something that's very difficult to grow, but he can grow it well. So, the grapes kind of say he has a skill that he could be using that could increase his wealth, but like he has to go and use it. So again, I'm not calling you lazy, but I definitely would say that like, yeah, you're going to have to work to get this wealth that you're thinking about, or to create this, abundant life that you're thinking about as well. In the area of your foundation, you have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords, most people read as lying, cheating, stealing, but again, golden cards in the tarot are meant to be positive no matter what. So he is sneaking away from this army in the background, and he's stealing their swords so they can't go to war with him, and he is basically going to war, but in a different way. So I feel for a lot of you, this is saying that, there could be better ways to do the things that you want to do in your life. You just have to come up with a plan, and you have to commit to the plan. We go Seven of Swords, up to the Four of Wands, up to the Judgment card. The Four of Wands, of course, is a card of marriage, but it can just represent commitment. It can just say that you are committing to your purpose, even with the Judgment card, because the Judgment card can represent your purpose or what you are doing with your life. And I definitely feel it is time for you to like commit to one thing with the Judgment card, or it's time for you to commit to something that you are wanting to work on or something that you want to be part of your purpose. And that's pretty much what I would do there. Next, in your past position, this is the energy you're moving past. You have this bear card. It says strength and resourcefulness. You also have this dog. It says loyalty and determination. Sorry, wrong camera. I think these would be great energies for you to work with here, Leo, even though they're coming up in the past. I feel that just based off the rest of the reading, you're going to continue to have to develop your strength with the Strength card, and you're going to have to continue to be resourceful with the King of Pentacles, and being loyal to what you love with the Four of Wands, right? The Four of Wands doesn't have to be marrying a person. It could just be you committing to something that you love, like a job, a business, a career, anything that you're working on, and that's what I would do with those cards. You have the Five of Wands. I have the word invisible barriers popping into my head. I feel like some Leos might think, it's coming up in the past, which is good. It's like you're moving past this energy, but it's like some of you might be thinking that there are certain barriers that you can't see that have been preventing your success. I'm not even getting competition or anything like that. The Five of Wands can represent conflict and competition. Maybe over time you have thought that what's holding you back is conflict or competition. Really, it just feels like a part of it. I feel this is more like invisible barriers, where it's like you feel like something is getting in your way, and preventing you from, kind of like getting what you want. I'm not even really sure what else to say about that. Again, I always say I don't claim to know everything. I would never trust an intuitive that does claim to know everything, and I don't know what else to say here, so I'm just going to say it. There you go. We're going to clarify in a minute, and maybe we'll get more details on that, but I just feel that invisible barrier thing. I guess the good news is that it's showing up in the past, right? Next, in your very near future, you have this Create card and this Ego card. Yes, I think it's definitely an amazing time for creativity. So any creative projects or anything creative that you can work on would be really good idea. Really good idea. The thing about Ego is that we had Mars go retrograde in Leo, and Mars is currently in Cancer. It will be back in Leo soon enough, and then we'll clear the shadow on May 2nd or 3rd. And so a lot of you might have kind of had some moments over the past few months where it's kind of like your ego took a hit, or maybe something about your ego took a hit, and I kind of feel that feeling here. I also think that if we are trying to be perfect, right? If we're working on something creative, if we're trying to be perfect, if we're not getting started, then that is basically the ego that is preventing us from getting started, right? The good news is that you also have the Four of Wands here in the area of the very near future. So the Four of Wands kind of tells me that you are going to be setting yourself free. The Four of Wands is a card of freedom. It's a finish line card. And if you read a lot of old tarot books, they the Four of Wands, sure, it can represent marriage and all that other stuff, but a lot of them talk about how the Four of Wands comes up when we are completing something, and we're kind of completing a project or something we've been working towards, and then we're going to the next level, or we're moving on to the next thing. And that's kind of what I feel here. It's you could be crossing through this threshold in the middle of the card, and you could be moving on to your next stage of your life and setting yourself free. You could be letting go of things that have been holding you back for a long time as well with the Four of Wands. So yeah, I think this is really good. I think good things could be happening for you with the Four of Wands. We don't see a ton of love here yet. That could change in a minute, but this could also be a commitment with a person if you are looking for love. Next, in your outcome row, you have this card. It says show the world the real you. There you go. You have this full moon in Sag. It says look at the big picture. So I definitely feel that the ego thing and the King of Pentacles showing up in your mind, right? It's like a skill that you have that you're not using. Then I definitely feel showing the world the real you is what needs to happen here. I think this big picture energy has come up for you a lot, if I'm not mistaken. It kind of makes sense because we have Pluto in Aquarius has moved into Aquarius, which is your opposite sign. Pluto in Aquarius kind of is big picture because Pluto in Aquarius is about shining bright. Aquarius is a star card. You end with the star card. The star card represents looking at the big picture. There's a bird on it. The bird represents getting a bird's eye view or seeing the big frickin' picture here, Leo. So I definitely feel it's time for you to like put things into perspective, which can be very helpful. When we gain a perspective on something, we can see how to get to the finish line. Four of Wands. Four of Wands is the card of the finish line, and that's exactly what I would do with those two cards. Next, in the area of the next few months, you have the Four of Swords. Yeah, taking care of yourself, resting, relaxing, recovering. I feel all that would be amazing. You know, we've had a lot of heavy energy for the past few months, really since like November. So I feel like everybody kind of needs a break. Everybody needs to take a breather. Everybody needs to, you know, take a minute. And so if you need a break, take a break. I also feel it would be, you know, with the stars showing up here, it would probably be an amazing time for you to ask for something you want. You know, there's a person here in this stained glass window who is blessing this other person. And so he is praying. He's like hoping and praying for a blessing. And I kind of feel this is saying, like, if you want something, ask, and you will probably get it here, Leo. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Ten of Swords. I literally said to Aries that I think that every single fire sign is going to get something about ending relationships, and I have one more fire sign to do, so I haven't been wrong yet. And I just feel, I felt this for Aries, and I felt it for fire signs for April in general, that I think a lot of you could be seeing people leaving your life and, you know, all that other stuff. I don't think this is a bad thing for fire signs. It might be sad, like for some of those people, or, you know, might be uncomfortable, but really I think fire signs have been through a lot as far as connections are concerned. And I'm not talking about just love here. I'm talking about every single connection in your life. And a lot of you have probably learned like what's worth it, what's not worth it. With the Ten of Swords, this is about learning to let go. So, you know, that's kind of what's popping into my head, that some of you have learned that maybe you have to let go of certain people, or it's not even like letting go. It's like, you know, sometimes people just leave our life. It doesn't, not necessarily like on a bad note. They just go away. And, you know, that it is what it is. And I feel like some of you could be, you know, just kind of going through that. Next, in your future feelings, you have the Judgment card. Love it, because you could be feeling like you are being guided towards something better. These people are standing in these coffins. The coffin is their old life. Outside the coffin is their new life. And they are being directed to step into a new life. So I feel for a lot of you that you could be stepping into a new life, or you could be walking towards a new life here and feeling the call. There's been a lot of clarity in these readings, and we're ending all these retrogrades. So, you know, that's pretty much what I've said to everyone is we're ending these retrogrades. We're moving past all this energy that's been holding us back, and we're finally gaining clarity on like the direction we should move in life, or, you know, what we should be doing in our life. And yeah, it makes perfect sense. You have the Star card as your outcome, which is amazing. Again, I feel based off the rest of the reading, it's clear to me that looking at the big picture would be a really good idea for you. I feel like this has come up for you before, Leo, because I'm pretty sure I said to you, it's like if you're on the street in Manhattan and you're trying to get to like Los Angeles, it's like you can't see from there how to get to Los Angeles. But when you look at a map from a bird's eye view, when you look at the big picture, then you can see how to get to where you're going. With the star, we have to zoom out. We have to look at our big impossible dream or whatever we're trying to accomplish, and we just have to kind of think about the steps we need to take to get there. And, you know, kind of zooming out, looking at the big picture will make it much more possible for you to accomplish something great. So I feel like that star card is saying zoom out on whatever it is that you're doing. So let's see here, Leo, what is coming up for you. With the Five of Pentacles and the Strength card, you have the Page of Pentacles. It's a card of learning, because Page of Pentacles is a card of studiousness. So I feel a lot of you have to like learn how to develop your strength, as we already said. You know, there could be some news. We have the Judgment card and this card. The Page of Pentacles can sometimes represent like a message or a messenger. So there could be like a person who helps you see your strength, right? Or something like that. And, you know, that's kind of like what's popping into my head on that card. In the area of what's on your mind with the King of Pentacles, you have the Star. So it's clear to me that you have some sort of like big vision for your life, or you have something that would make your life more comfortable. Like in some ways, I feel that comfort is the enemy for Leo. It's like sometimes I think if Leos are too comfortable, they can get lazy. And again, I'm not calling you lazy. I'm just saying here, Leo. But I think that it would be good for you to work towards something that you think would make you more comfortable. Let's put it that way. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, no rushing at this time. I'm pretty sure you've been getting this card with me for a while, because I feel like I've been saying to Leo, like, no jumping to conclusions, no making decisions too quickly. Take your time, think things through. The Knight of Swords is too hasty, and he jumps to a conclusion, and he doesn't really think about what he's doing. So I feel that anything that you're doing, being more tactical with that Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is strategy. He's coming up with a plan on how to do something. The Knight of Swords is just winging it, just doing it. And so I feel that these two cards are saying it would be much better for you to come up with a strategy for the big picture, probably, than it would be to rush right in. So, again, I would just plan things out. With the Five of Wands, you have the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles, again, is a little bit of kind of he's just sitting there. The Five of Wands is conflict or competition. Maybe you've learned a lot from the competition over the years, or maybe you still need to learn more from the competition. But like I was saying, I was getting this invisible barriers thing. Maybe it's that you don't see your own strength. Again, maybe in the past you haven't seen how valuable a skill that you have is. So if you're not using that skill, then you're not going to stand out. You're not going to get noticed. And again, it seems to me like there could be some sort of skill or talent, gift, skill, or ability that you need to use to create more success in your life. And that's exactly what I would do with this King of Pentacles. With the Four of Wands, you have the Six of Cups. Really good. I mean, if you do want love, it's not really a love reading, but the Six of Cups can be like a childlike connection. Now, Page of Pentacles can be like a new person that you're talking to. But Leo, what I would say to you is if you start talking to a new person, or, this could be someone that you're going to meet over the next month or so. The Five of Pentacles, you need to believe that you're good enough, right? Don't put yourself down. It's sometimes I think we meet a person that they're really good, and we're what does this person see in me? And I feel like this is saying, don't think that here, Leo. You are good enough, right? Six of Cups is usually, kind of a very childlike connection. It can be something that's very playful, very fun, and just very loving as well. So it looks good, but again, I think you need to believe in yourself more to get it. With the Four of Swords, over the next few months, you have the Temperance card. I would just be patient with yourself, really. From now till September. I think that, being patient and really realizing that you are making progress. Again, sometimes we are too close to an issue, or we are too close to the work that we're doing. So if we look at it right here, we're I'm not doing very much work. If I only look at this one reading right here, right now, I would say to myself, oh my God, I'm only doing one reading. But if I zoom out, then I will realize I've already done 4 other readings today, right? So when you're too close, you can't see it. And I feel like the Temperance card, all this other stuff, is saying if you zoom out and put things into perspective, you'll probably realize that you're much farther ahead than you realize. So don't be afraid to take a break. Don't be afraid to rest. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Devil. Some of you could be cutting out toxic connections in your life just in general. Like I said, to me, this is very Leo, very fire sign energy. I think that a lot of fire signs have dealt with toxic connections, and I'm not talking about just love, I'm talking about everything for the past few years. And again, it's you've learned what to look out for, you've learned who to trust, who not to trust, and all that other good stuff. So I would just keep trusting yourself or trusting what you're doing, and I think you'll be fine. And I also feel I kind of get this feeling that these two cards are saying don't make the same mistakes. It's you know what to look out for now, so trust it, right? With the Judgment card for your future feelings, you have the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, pretty good, because again, this is like the opposite of the Devil with the Ten of Swords. Three of Pentacles is being able to work on projects with people. It's a card of teamwork. They're all working towards a shared vision or the same thing. So a lot of you could really be finding people who kind of want to support your vision. And that's probably the important thing here. There are a couple signs like Gemini, you, and I can't remember who else, but there's like a couple of signs where the readings have really been saying, like, you need to be number one. You need to be the one that is calling the shots. And the people that are coming in, they need to be supporting your vision. So as long as you are number one, as long as you are taking the lead, I feel that things will go very well. But if you're not, then you're going to struggle. You're going to have a hard time. And so I would be careful. With the Star card, you have the Six of Swords. Yeah, moving on to calmer shores. The big vision, putting things into perspective, will create movement. Now, the Six of Swords, the woman and the child in that boat, they're leaving everything behind, and they're kind of like completely starting over. They're only bringing the clothing on their back to something new. So a lot of you, like, I don't feel Leo is really starting anything over, but you definitely could be starting something new. And, they have these swords in the front of the boat there, and the swords kind of represent the fact that they are bringing all the knowledge, all the wisdom, everything they've learned. They're bringing all those things forward with them, and that's what will allow them to be successful in the future. Let's see. You have this Control card. This card always reminds me of the World card for obvious reasons, and it's also Jupiter and Capricorn. The World card is Capricorn, so a lot of you could be kind of like taking control of your world and creating accomplishments for yourself, which I think would be a great thing for you, Leo. Next, you have this Practicality card. Yes, Five of Wands. Five of Wands is a complexity. Five of Wands is the complexity bias, right? It's like, I think when things are hard, like they are right now for most people, that we think we need to come up with some sort of crazy, complex solution to the problem. But really, we just need a practical, simple solution. And as long as we keep things simple, then we will be fine. If we overcomplicate things, then we're going to struggle. So I really feel that, like with the Five of Wands, Five of Pentacles, it's like you're overcomplicating things, or you're overestimating something, is kind of the feeling I get off of this card. It's like you think that you need to be up here, but really you only need to be right here. But again, the problem with that is if we think, the barrier to entry is up here, but really it's down here, then we never get started. So again, you are good enough. You need to say that to yourself every single day. Here, Leo, that is your homework. You have this Assertion card. Yes, this is the Sun in Aries. We have a ton of energy that will be moving through Aries over the next couple of years, especially, Neptune will be there for 14 years. It's going to retrograde this year before moving in back into Aries January 26th of 2026. Almost at that same time, we will have Saturn moving into Aries. So that Saturn will be there for like 2.5, 3 years. And then plus, right now we will have Venus and Mercury, not right now, but over the next month, we'll start moving back into Aries as well. So, it's definitely a time where we have to be assertive. We have to stand up for ourselves. We really have to go for the things we want. So be assertive. You have this Power card. I feel like saying there's power in silence, number one. So again, it might be a good time to do, not talk, right? It might be a good time to just do what you want to say, but instead of talking about it. I think that talking about things could be too confusing as well. The other thing that's popping into my head here, Leo, is that if you are if you're interested in a person, for example, and if you're talking to your friends about it, they could be causing a lot of doubt, right? So again, especially in love, this really isn't a love reading, but if you want love, I'm just getting, number one, keep it to yourself. Number two, just go and do it instead of talking about it, because, you could actually get a result if you actually do it. You have this Flattery card. Yes, a lot of people have had this card, which is interesting as well. These two faces are facing away from each other. These two are facing towards each other. So if you are looking for love, you could find a person where it's like you are very similar, and you're on a similar level. Like I was saying earlier, it's almost like I said this also earlier than this in the reading, that it's like some of you, I think, are thinking that a person is up here and you're down here. But again, don't say that. and because I think that it's not true. I don't think there's this like difference between the two of you is what I'm trying to say. I'm actually not even sure what I'm trying to say. Obviously, I'm talking out my ass right now here, Leo, because I'm not exactly clear on it. But just intuitively, it just feels like there's some sort of difference, or it's like you are thinking that a person is better than you, even though they're not, even though that shouldn't be a thing in the first place. So I hope that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I think you need to get those thoughts out of your head. But this looks really good, Leo. I like where this is going. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.